there, my name's Ed, and today we are trying a tea brewing method as suggested by a viewer. We are going to be brewing some long Jing, some Shifeng long Jing, at 70 degrees with short infusions. Now, brewing parameters isn't something that I particularly really played around with too much. I tend to just go with what is kind of recommended, really. So it's taking a little bit of time. Yeah, I just tend to go with what people suggest, what is recommended. The temperature that you brew these tends to be pretty, it tends to be basically agreed upon. But today we're going nice and low with this green tea. Usually I'd brew about 80 degrees. Today we're going to do 70. And this viewer said that this means that you don't get the astringency or bitterness for more infusions, because what I tend to find is that at 80 degrees, if you're brewing for 10-15 second infusions, on the third or fourth you will start getting astringency. On the fifth you are certainly getting astringency. You will have lost those kind of bright sort of top end notes in your tea, at which point, you know, the tea's dead. So we're going to see if we can go a little bit further, maybe if we can get to 5 without astringency, still with some nice sort of top note of flavour, and we shall see. We've tried long Jing before, so we sort of know what we're dealing with. Nuttiness from this, real nuttiness, kind of raw asparagus. Almost a bit of creaminess. That probably isn't what you'd expect or what technically is correct, but I think that nuttiness, that kind of toasty nutty note, almost kind of, yeah, like oaty, a little bit oaty, a little bit sort of maybe a nut milk, like almond milk. Interesting. And not a whole lot of there's just a touch of that umami seaweed in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we are ready, because we're doing really fast infusions here. This first infusion probably won't even really be an infusion, because most of these leaves are going to not even submerge in our water. But those dry leaves will sort of start to steam in the guy one. Yeah, nice. Let's see if we're getting anything. So a bit more green on the wet leaves. Yeah. Vegetal. What is that? I can't quite put my finger on it. A little bit of mushroom. Maybe cooked asparagus. Oh god, there's something more there though. Anyway, so I guess the only difference here really is that we've got more leaves. So usually I'd be going for about 3.5 grams. Today we're going for 5 grams. So in terms of a percentage, that's quite a big difference. As you can see, there are quite a lot of leaves in this guy one. And this guy one is, at maximum it's about 130 millilitres, but I'm probably pouring to about 100, so doing 5 grams to 100, which is kind of a typical, it's really kind of just a typical tea to water ratio, but with a long Jing you tend to go for less leaves, because you get more leaves per gram. So there may be people out there who are going 5 grams on long Jing every time. I personally haven't been doing that. And this specific viewer didn't specify a particular grams, because they don't weigh them. and so they estimated, but they couldn't give me a specific weight. Okay. Because that was so quick, and because all the leaves weren't submerged, this infusion has not given much. Yeah, incredibly light. There might be a little bit of that vegetal note in there, but not really getting anything. So what I might do is I might even discard this infusion, because I do want to get along into these infusions as much as we can. Okay. We might go filterless with one, so God, it's almost difficult to brew so quickly. So I've got a bit more colour on this one. I thought it'd be nice to go for a fully glass brewing today, but a little bit more colour on that, as you can see. And because I'm using this this double wall glass, it's actually staying quite hot even for 70 degrees. I mean, one reason that I don't like brewing at 70 is that it cools down to 60 and 50, and then you've just got kind of lukewarm, warm tea, which nobody particularly wants. That aroma's changing again. Not so much nuttiness. It's really on a kind of on a ratatouille note at the moment. It's funny. It's kind of like a mixed roast, kind of stewed vegetable for me. Almost like stewed potato. Like stewed potato, stewed onion. Kind of peculiar, actually. And yeah, that kind of it's not umami, but mushrooms do have umami in them, but they don't smell of umami, or don't really taste particularly umami compared to something like soy sauce or seaweed, or whatever. So it's a thick infusion, this one. Not bursting the flavour, honestly. Perhaps the lower temperature in the quick infusions means that we're not actually extracting as much flavour. That isn't to say that it's not an enjoyable cup of tea. But I would, because I've got so much aroma in the guy one, and so much different aroma at different stages, I would have liked to have had more. I would like to have more in the cup. So what we may do is go for 3. See where 3 leads us. But I'd like to get to at least 5. I might do some off camera, just to see where we can get to with this. Because the real question is about astringency of bitterness. Go for a really small aperture on this guy one, which means that it's taking a little bit of time to come pour out, but I just wanted to avoid as much of that leaf as possible, just in terms of just convenience. And the reason I do like going sort of filterless on Dragon Well is that there are so many particulates and hairs on the leaves and the buds that there's too much interesting stuff there to get caught up in a filter. Too much texture, too much flavour, too much experience there. Do excuse me. So I'm getting much more texture than I think I would usually from these infusions. More texture, but probably less flavour. Okay, and not texture in terms of astringency, but texture in terms of the body and the mouthfeel. They are richer and fuller, but I'm not getting intensity of flavour. Now, it may be the case that this long Jing is maybe not suited to this sort of brewing, or maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. I think I would get more flavour at 80 degrees, and I guess there's that balance between getting the flavour and balancing that with the astringency as you go through the infusions. So even though there's not a hint of astringency in this tea because it's a low brewing, but you're not getting that flavour. You're getting texture, but not flavour. Now people get all sorts of different results from doing this. I think I'll just do one last infusion on camera. I'm just not getting the flavour. I would be lying if I said I would. Or if I was saying I was. Grammar, struggling today. So at this point I really would be expecting quite a lot of astringency. Well, not a lot, but I'd definitely be expecting astringency. So we shall see from this infusion. Just the slightest. I mean, not even. I think if you took this cup, you wouldn't say it was astringent. You wouldn't even say it was really a hint of astringent. But there's just that touch of dryness coming through in this infusion. And almost more intensity of flavour. I mean, maybe this needs even more time. I mean, it just feels so counterintuitive to be infusing a green tea more than 4 or 5 times. So it just seems very peculiar to me. But for me, I've got more texture, less flavour, and less astringency. So some positives, some negatives there. And if you want to go for more infusions, you can. This allows you to go for those more infusions. So that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and give it a go. See what you think. Bye bye.